Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen for yourself a video of what is going on today on Bell Island. The video shows you just where Bell Island is, right in the Exuma Land and Sea Park. That video was taken about 3 weeks ago when myself and a filming crew went down to take a look at the destruction that was happening on Bell Island. So you can imagine how much more destruction has taken place since then. The impact on the environment in and around Bell Island is severe. 13 acres or 600,000 square feet of seabed has been destroyed. Conch, fish, lobster, and turtle habitats and coral beds have all been destroyed. A pond where the protected Bahama duck and countless other wildlife thrived has been heavily impacted, and they are no longer there. Hills, as you can see from the video and the picture, have been excavated. What I witnessed during that trip was both devastating and depressing. The Exuma Land and Sea Park was established in 1958 and comprises 176 square miles of land and sea. In 1959, the Bahamas National Trust was created by statute, and in 1964, the Exuma Land and Sea Park was vested in the National Trust by a Crown grant. Conch Cut marks the southern eastern boundary of the park. Access to Bell Island is gained through Conch Cut. Dredging is now going on in Conch Cut to facilitate the entrance for a marina which is to go on Bell Island. I want to draw your attention to something here. It is called Conch Cut for a reason. There are thousands of conch which call this area their home. This area is their home. This is where they live. Now they are being kicked out. Many of the requirements of the Environmental Impact Assessment and the Environmental Management Plan have been violated. For example, silt curtains there are inadequate. Dredging continues with broken, destroyed, and in some areas, no curtains at all. Silt has been spilling onto nearby coral and other vegetation lining the seabed. And there appears not to be a full-time, on-site environmental manager. Yet, neither the government nor the National Trust is taking any action to correct it. In addition to the vast environmental degradation, the toll the development is taking on Bahamians, especially those of the Exuma Keys, is unacceptable. Many Bahamian entrepreneurs rely on the park for their income. They are tour guides and boat captains whose guests come year after year to see the untouched beauty of this unique part of the Exumas. They are equally distressed because they fear their grandchildren won't have this experience. Bahamians who need top to sell to straw vendors are chased out of the park, even though they use sustainable measures to harvest it. There are at least 38,000 Bahamians who are unemployed in the country today. Many of them are out of work due to the FNM's mismanagement of the economy, like the large number of business owners whose establishments in New Providence had to be closed due to the roadworks. Now the Free National Movement government's policies are threatening the future of Bahamians in the Family Islands. The Progressive Liberal Party has learned that Bahamians are working on Bell Island, but whatever work is being done is short-term. The FNM has talked about the importance of ecotourism, but instead of preserving treasures like Bell Island for Bahamians, they are allowing foreigners to destroy it. The Free National Movement government and the Bahamas National Trust have turned a blind eye to what is going on at Bell Island and turned their backs on the Bahamian people, all for a few helicopter rides $1 million, and who knows what else. They should be embarrassed. But why should we be surprised? The FNM and the National Trust are not putting Bahamians first. They are putting their personal interests and those of their wealthy special interests ahead of Bahamians. Proof of this is their absolute and complete silence on this matter. The Progressive Liberal Party therefore wants the Prime Minister, Hubert Alexander Ingram, and his government and its appropriate agencies to monitor and ensure that the development is being carried out in accordance with the conditions laid out in the developer's license and the requirements of the BEST Commission. The Progressive Liberal Party also notes a pattern in the actions of the Free National Movement government that has led to the destruction of the middle class, the discouragement of entrepreneurship, and the promotion of activities for special interests. The PLP government wants the FNMs to stop and desist in this regard immediately. Thank you. Questions? Well, I mean, I am aware of some of the projects that he has undertaken. I think at the end of the day, the issue is, of course, with any development, you have to offset it with the destruction to the environment. In this particular case, the Exuma Land and Sea Park was created in order to preserve our environment and as a natural habitat for fish, lobster, conch, turtle, and so forth. And I don't care how much money he spends, and I don't care what he donates. No amount of millions of dollars can undo the level of destruction that has happened in the Exuma Land and Sea Park. And there's no way the government or any other agency should have even considered approving the scale and depth that this project has gone. I'm telling you, if you see it face to face, it is devastating, devastating. The mining alone, I mean, that, you can't get an idea of the scale, but that's about a 30-foot cliff. That's about 30 feet that they have excavated and taken out. The level of dredging that's going on. You see the heaps here? There's more of this on the beach around the other side. There's just tons and tons of it. There is nothing that can make up for this. Well, at this point, there was a lot of opposition to this, as you all very well aware. And the main opposition came to the dredging here because of what this area represents. This area represents our future, represents a livelihood for a lot of people. And as far as the food, the fish that use this area and the conch that use this area as their natural habitat, allows the Bahamian people to have a sustainable source of food moving forward. And so no amount of money can interfere, or no amount of money can make up for the damage that was done there. With regard to other dredging and so forth, the environmental impact studies that dictate how those should be happening. But in the Exuma Land and Sea Park, there's no way, there's no reason, there's no rationale as to why this project was approved.
So if the PLP was to become the next government of the Bahamas, would you all revisit this dredging and in any way reverse it if you could, or
well,
talk to the Akakan to rework it?
Well, let me say that this dredging is going on now. This will be finished very shortly. And that's why you see that we have taken the approach that with the requirements and conditions that were put in place, we disagree with it, but the fact is it's happening. If it's happening, at least monitor it and make sure the conditions you set down to protect whatever else is left there for us to protect. Protect that.
That's right.
But you can see from these, I mean, this here, there's no protection here. The curtains don't go down to the ground. or anything. Everything is just seeping right out. And this is happening daily, daily.
Mr. Fitzgerald, would you say that the requirements of the EIA and the EMP were adequate in the first place that the government set down?
I think under the conditions that they found themselves in, when the government pressing ahead to make sure the project happened, and the Bahamas National Trust not standing up to it, when you look at the requirements and conditions that the BEST Commission put down, I thought that if those were followed, at the very least, the impact and the damage would have been minimized. The truth of the matter is that it has not been followed through it. It's extreme lack of money. It's a lack of concern.
Senator Fitzgerald, you talk about how it impacts local Exumans. I know this is an area that's very close to our heart. But tell us how the average Exuman, particularly in the area of the national park, is affected, how their living is affected by what's going on there.
Right.
I have a second part to that.
Well, you...
A few Bahamians are actually there.
Yes.
But they're not even from the Exuma area. And then these are short-term jobs, aren't they?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there are some persons who are working and doing the dredging who are from other islands in the Bahamas, who are working there. But as far as Exumians are concerned, in the Keys, I can tell you in the majority, they are opposed to this. It makes them sick. And having been a regular visitor to the Exuma Keys, I interact with them on a regular basis, and that's why I'm so impassioned about this, because I've seen it for myself. I know how they feel about it, and the fact that a lot of them used to use this area to go take their tourists, to go and look at the conch that used to be here in the thousands, and to take guides, to take the tour guide. As tour guides, they took them through there for snorkeling expeditions and so forth. Those conchs are now gone. The seabed has been destroyed, in that area, and they're now dredging it out.
So Exumans are actually now losing revenue as a result of what's happening?
Well, what has happened, of course, as far as the sustainability of their businesses and so forth, they are very concerned that the beauty upon which the Exuma Keys was initially, the way the Exuma Keys are viewed now by their guests is being altered, and altered seriously, and they want to ensure that those guests continue to come back and enjoy the natural beauty of the Exuma Keys.
Finally, sir, the PLP continues to talk about special interest groups, and you allege that the academics, the government's giving more attention to those than they are to Bahamians. Can you comment a little bit more on that?
Well, the key is, in this case, what is so disturbing about this matter is that there is evidence to suggest that the previous owners of this key in particular were not given permission to do the sort of building and excavation and dredging that is now going on. I mean, this is extensive. And it appears that through the donation of $1 million and whatever other relationship the owner of the island has with the government, it has caused them to turn a blind eye to the destruction of the Exuma Land and Sea Park, and in particular, Bell Island. It's shameful. It is shameful. Any further questions?
No further questions?
Good. Thank you very much.
That's it.
Good.